I'm sure you can tell from the outfit and from my past book recommendations, I love vampire novels. And I am a huge Anne Rice vampire fan. So of course I had to pick up her trilogy on witches, the Mayfair series. And I'm here to say that these are probably the worst things that she's written when it comes to this universe, and I would give the entire series 2 stars. Without spoiling it too much, because frankly, it's hard to describe this on video, and it can be definitely seen as triggering to, I'm sure, a lot of people. The main difference is definitely in tone, and that it feels like even though this is supposed to be part of the universe, we don't really need it in order to get everything that we like out of her other books. This may seem a little bit confusing because it is different from how the new show is interpreting events, but originally when it comes to her vampire novels, although it's full of beautiful remembrances, descriptions, different perspectives, longing, it is not really a traditionally sexy vampire book, as they don't really have the facilities in order to perform like when they were humans. Completely different on the show. Authors took everything that was great about the original series and really played up the sexiness, even when discussing toxic relationships of the vampires and the queer storylines within it. So love it. And after reading this entire series and kind of seeing what they had to work with the first season of the Mayfair Witches, those writers have a much more difficult task on hand because there's a lot of sexuality woven within these pages that is just not right. This is about a series of witches that are haunted by a spirit named Lasher who wants to be born into this world. So he manipulates things by making them breed with one another so that way they would increase in magical abilities, killing them off quickly so that way he can get sooner to that rebirth process. And then after being born of his mother Rowan, then tries to mate with her and the other Mayfair witches so that way he can bring his breed into the world. And did I say that when he was born, he was immediately a freak giant human being? Like, aside from the fact that there's no way somebody's body can handle that, the grossness of how this is all tied on interbreeding, no. At least Rowan has been given the ability to go to medical school, and by the time the events happen is a neurosurgeon, although why she completely ignores the freak pregnancy, I don't know. But there's another main character in here, her cousin Mona, who's 13 years old, very brilliant, and due to ghosts, bad decision, circumstances, then gets with Rowan's old ass husband. And that's where we get to this book 3, Taltos, because eventually Lasher's dealt with, but I guess we need to know more about his species and why he was born that way, why there aren't more like him. Also, we have to tie in the Talamasca that's involved with the other vampires. And normally I'm like, I know, I can kind of see what the author is doing here, but I can't with this series. It doesn't add to her universe. It doesn't do anything other than gross everybody out. And it's probably more about her opinions at that time when it comes to abortions and women's rights. I'm willing to admit that I love the gothic, sexy, toxic glamour that is pretty much everything that she's described in the vampire books, but when it comes to witches, it's like, girl, don't even bother. Maybe we shouldn't be rehabbing or remaking this into a show.